and welcome to an India Today special broadcast that comes to you from high altitude Tawang in Arunachal Pradesh. I'm Gaurav Sawant. Our top focus story on India First is a rather crude and uncivilized statement made by Pakistan's Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, and he's in the eye of a storm over this statement. Listen in.
The subject matter, the distinguished ministers.
India exposes Pak terror on world stage.
Nor can hosting Osama bin Laden and attacking a neighboring parliament serve as credentials to sermonize before this council.
Rattled Pak stoops to a new low.
Osama bin Laden is dead. Lives. And he is the Prime Minister of India.
As Taliban kill Pakistanis on Afghan-Pakistan border, desperate Pak shifts focus from its failures. Time for India to declare Pak a terror state. That's our top focus on India First.
Pakistan is rattled. Pakistan's Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari appears very rattled, and this because Pakistan is in the line of fire for being a state sponsor of terror and the global epicenter of terror. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari's country was exposed by External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, who told the world about the ground realities. Osama bin Laden, the world's most wanted terrorist, was hiding barely 100 meters from Pakistan Military Academy Kakul in Abbottabad. Pakistan has been involved in a series of terror attacks in India, from the attack on the Temple of Indian Democracy, our parliament, to 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks and targeting Indian interests in Afghanistan. But Pakistan has also been involved in terror attacks in the United Kingdom, Europe, and in the United States of America, with its sleeper cells of Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed active both in Europe and in the United States of America. We bring you our top story.
Hina Rabani Khan was a minister at that time, and I think standing next to her, Hillary Clinton actually said that if you have, I'm giving you the sense, it's not an exact quote, that if you have snakes in your backyard, you can't expect them to bite only your neighbors. Eventually, they will bite the people who keep them in the backyard.
With these scathing remarks, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar exposed and shamed Pakistan on the global stage, hitting out at Pakistan Minister Hina Rabani Khan for linking India to the recent Lahore blasts. Jaishankar reminded them of former US Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's advice to Islamabad.
But as you know, Pakistan is not great on taking good advice, and you see what's happening there. In terms of what they are saying, look, the truth is everybody, the world today sees them as the epicenter of terrorism. Now, I know we've been through 2.5 years of COVID, and a lot of us have brain fog as a result. But I assure you, the world has not forgotten, where does terrorism, who has their fingerprints over a lot of activities in the region and beyond the region.
Speaking to the media at the United Nations, Jaishankar put the onus on maintaining calm and peace in the region.
So my advice is, please clean up your act. Please try to be a good neighbor. Please try and contribute to what the rest of the world is trying to do today, which is economic growth, progress, development. So I hope through your channel that message goes through. We stand ready.
Jaishankar had earlier exposed Pakistan in the front of world leaders, putting the spotlight on Islamabad's role in terror attacks across the globe.
Lifestyle for environment. The world cannot afford attention deficits or tactical compromises. It is most of all for the Security Council to lead the global response in this regard. Today's briefing is another step in that direction. I thank you, and I now resume my duties as chair.
Rattled by the Indian minister's sharp attacks, Pakistan Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto had gone on a rant, targeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
I'd like to remind the Honourable Foreign Minister of or the Minister for External Affairs of India that Osama bin Laden is dead. Gujarat lives. And he is the Prime Minister of India.
Bhutto's personal attacks triggered BJP protests demanding an apology from the Pakistan minister. The Ministry of External Affairs issued a statement calling the comments a new low even for Pakistan. The government reminded Pakistan of its genocide against ethnic Bengalis and Hindus in 1971. The MEA warned Islamabad that unless Pakistan changes its mindset, it remain a pariah.
We know that the kind of work which is going on in the country of Pakistan, as well as the kind of representation which Pakistan has made, it is not just the desperate act of a desperate nation or a foreign minister who is likely to be representing a failed state in a very short time. I think one must understand that this is the desperation of Mr. Bhutto which is making him speak the language he's speaking.
With Pakistan standing exposed in front of the whole world, the question is, will they change at all? Bureau Report, India Today.
Why would Pakistan's top diplomatic leader, why would Bilawal Bhutto Zardari make a statement that's so undiplomatic and so unbecoming of a representative of a country? Why is Pakistan so rattled? Let's try make sense of it. Joining me now on the broadcast is Ambassador Vishnu Prakash. Ambassador Vishnu Prakash is a former top diplomat. He's served both in Pakistan and in China. Also with me is Sushant Sareen. Keeps a hawk eye on Pakistan, is a senior fellow at the Observer Research Foundation. Also with me from Pakistan is Kamar Chima, an analyst on strategic affairs. But Sushant Sareen, what's your understanding? Why would Bilawal Bhutto Zardari say something as crude and as uncivilized?
Gaurav, before I come to your question, I think it's very important to let your audience know what Bilawal Bhutto Zardari is, what his antecedents are, and how rich it is coming from him, what he has said in New York the other day. Number one, he is the grandson of a man who was responsible for the mass murder in East Pakistan, or now Bangladesh. And Zulfikar Ali Bhutto's hands were red with the blood of Bengalis because of what he orchestrated and how he violated all democratic principles to grab power. Number one. Number two, Bilawal Bhutto Zardari's mother is also the mother of the Taliban. The Taliban came into existence under her watch. So in a sense, he's the cousin or the stepbrother of the Taliban. And we know what the Taliban have done. Number three, Bilawal Bhutto Zardari is the offspring of the Bonnie and Clyde of Pakistan. His parents were the biggest looters of Pakistan, his mother and his father both. And for him to talk about, these highfalutin stuff which he does, it's very rich coming from him. And finally, Bilawal Bhutto Zardari's party in Sindh, number one, it's not even a regional party, it's a sub-regional party. But his party in Sindh presides over the worst religious persecution of Hindus. His party is responsible for the kidnapping and the forcible conversion of Hindu girls. And this shameless wretch goes to the UN and talks about human rights and what have you. But what are his motivations? Number one motivation is that he feels that
absolutely
like
bizarre.
Khan,
And I want to, Ambassador Vishnu Prakash, he Oxbridge educated, whether his mother or he, what do you make of their statements? I mean, is this an instruction from Pakistan's ISI? Is this desperation to remain relevant within Pakistan? Or are they very rattled that today is 16th of December and in 1971, Pakistan was split into two? Bangladesh was born because of the atrocities of West Pakistanis on then East Pakistan. Ambassador Vishnu Prakash.
Good evening. Pakistan unfortunately is in denial. The leadership lives in a make-believe world. and are disconnected with ground realities. They continue their line, they continue peddling lies, hoping and believing that it will resonate somewhere, not understanding that they are going down the black hole and going down very rapidly. I mean, it reminds you of Emperor Nero, who fiddled while Rome burnt, but Rome had only one Emperor Nero. Pakistan has had several and continue to produce one after the other. The country is going down down the drain. The political turmoil is engulfing the country. There is ethnic insurgencies everywhere. Taliban is training the guns at them, and it is a fountainhead of terrorism. Yet, what they do is that they cannot get over their
Yes.
dislike, hatred, whatever of India, and continue doing the same thing over and over again. So, but the important thing, Gaurav, is also to see what has emboldened Pakistan to do what did they do. I think that is very important here. And there are two factors. One, their Aka,
You
or
know,
their,
is this some kind of, bravado on his part? I want to understand, Kamar Chima, your country is actually going down a very dark hole. You know that well. The Afghanis, the Taliban, that your country trained, armed, fed, funded, nurtured, established in Afghanistan, is now killing your people. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari's mother is also known as the mother of Taliban, as Sushant Sareen very rightly pointed out. Why would Bilawal Bhutto Zardari make such a crude and an uncivilized statement, sir?
Well, I think, first of all, as you mentioned, that it was Pakistan, United States and Saudi Arabia together. We all worked on promoting and having Taliban in Afghanistan. That is a fact. That is an open secret. Nothing need to tell about that one thing. But obviously, after the end of the Soviet disintegration of the Soviet Union, they left Taliban there. So
Mr. Chima is speaking a lie. He is misrepresenting facts.
I didn't stop nonsense.
No, you did, but I will not allow you to misrepresent facts out here.
Kamar Chima, the world knows the truth. Whether it is Hillary Clinton who says don't keep snakes in your backyard and expect them to bite only your neighbors, they will bite you. They are killing your people.
Well,
you know it. You are suffering.
There are two things.
But that's one part.
Two things.
Madeleine Albright calls you an international migraine, calls you international terror epicenter.
Listen.
Donald Trump says you've taken $33 billion and you've only nurtured terrorists and not taken action against them. Sir, the world has seen through Pakistan. And yet your leadership talks like this. Why? You live in, your leadership lives in cuckoo land, or is this an order from Pakistan's ISI?
Well, I think there are two things and both things are right. First, what Hillary Clinton said, that was absolutely right. And what Bilawal Bhutto said, that Modi Sahib is Gujarat, that is also absolutely right. And there is no undiplomatic. This is the American
forget about
State
Modi
Department.
Sahib. I'm sorry. I don't think any Pakistani should be talking about India at all. But I want to come to you, Sushant Sareen, once again. Riding piggyback on a section in America, this appears to be the activity of some kind of an ecosystem, whether in the US or in Pakistan, or maybe some within, Sushant Sareen.
Yeah, that's true. It's part of an ecosystem, and that ecosystem is very much present in our own country as well. In fact, much of the canards and calumny against the Indian Prime Minister has been carried out by people in India, including some people in your own channel, if I might say so. But the fact of the matter remains.
Okay, let's leave that aside. No, nobody in my channel. No, Sushant Sareen, I disagree with you. I disagree with you, sir, but go on.
The highest court of this country has exonerated the Indian Prime Minister, and he has gone through the kind of scrutiny no other leader in this country has gone through. And yet, for this canard and this calumny to continue, I think it does great injustice to an individual. Number one. Number two, I think it is very important to remember that when the pot calls the kettle black, I think it's very rich of the Pakistanis doing it. The kind of religious persecution which they have done in their country, the kind of butchery which they have done, not only of the Hindus, not only of the Christians, not only of the Ahmadis, which happens on a daily basis, the kind of butchery they have done in Afghanistan, the kind of butchery they have done in Bangladesh, and for the progeny of the butchers to come and talk about, such highfalutin terms, it really does not behove them. So I think they need to know when they get off.
It doesn't. And why would anyone even listen? Absolutely. Because Ambassador Vishnu Prakash, this ecosystem, create a narrative, build a fake narrative and then peddle it across the world, and then the enemies of the country will tom-tom the same narrative. Is that a serious, serious challenge that even we face?
Well, it is something which is bringing them diminishing returns, because you can fool the entire world once, you can fool one person all the time, but you cannot fool everybody all the time. That's a fact of life. But it is also important to see what emboldens Pakistan, because Pakistan is out to shoot itself in the feet, temple, whatever. But then there is China, which is the aids, abets and encourages Pakistan, which protects Pakistan. And let's also not underplay the role of the West, because Pakistan has perfected the art of putting itself on the for sale to the highest bidder. And the West has always cut a lot of slack to Pakistan. Why is it that the West does not recognize, especially the US, that there are terror groups in Pakistan, and why is only Taliban and Al-Qaeda and the Jaish, etc. Why are they going only after them? So the fact is that there is a lot of politics involved, and that is why Pakistan is emboldened, because nobody is willing to hold their feet to fire. So unless this is done, and they are told
Yes.
that this far and no further, I think they will continue, because for the leadership they are living in their own world. They are disconnected with reality. The country may go to dogs, but the leadership flourishes.
No, they'll come to us with a begging bowl. Sooner than later, the same Pakistanis will be coming to India with a begging bowl when they find out that they have no more people left to beg from Kamarchima. Your own Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif said when he calls up people, they are reluctant to take his call because they know Pakistan will be asking for money. Sir, when you're going down this hole, you will come to India begging for money, for medicines, for so many things, and then you badmouth us. Sir, koi deen iman nahi hai Pakistaniyon ka.
Well, I think I really laugh at you people when senior former diplomats and so-called experts, they just try to give a wrong picture to the Indian people, and you people just try to enjoy that as if Pakistan is dooming and as the things are not good. We absolutely know that there are some things which are not good going in Pakistan. We know how to live. There have been challenges. We will continue to face the challenges, and we will face the challenges. But let me tell you one thing. Whatever you are trying to tell
Sir,
to
how
the
will you
people
face challenge? You are
to
not
make a
begging,
Prime
you are
Minister
begging
Modi
for
a bigger
money.
leader.
I am sorry.
Your job
Sir,
is to make a
honorable
Prime
people
Minister
face
Modi a
challenges.
bigger
Beggars
leader.
beg.
You are all,
But Sushant
no,
Sareem, let's
let me
get
tell you,
facts
don't
right.
tell the wrong
Bilawal Bhutto Zardari knows he's under global pressure because Pakistan is a state sponsor of terror. Is he doing it to deflect from that? Is he doing it to remain relevant in his own country? Because Imran Khan also abused India to remain relevant in Pakistan. Is that what is happening?
I think, Gaurav, you've hit the nail on the head. The guys in power right now, they think that one of the reasons that Imran became so popular was because, he was constantly abusing the Indians and the Indian Prime Minister, the Indian ruling party. And they thought that this brings popularity. So one, they're trying to do that. Number two, they're trying to deflect attention from the abysmal handling of the Pakistan economy and the complete mismanagement of everything else which is happening in Pakistan, right? Have you heard about the floods anymore? Bilawal Bhutto Zardari will go with a very big bowl, begging bowl to rest of the world and talk about floods. But ask him what he and his party and his government have done in the places which are affected by the floods. They've done nothing. They've looted the people of Pakistan, and then they go and badmouth India and they think that this will make their politics. It's not going to happen, but they can try. But most importantly, and I think it's very important to understand this, that what Pakistan is going through, they created the snakes in Afghanistan. It was Benazir Bhutto's creation, which was the Taliban, which assassinated her. So when you were talking about don't, raise snakes in your backyard, they did it and they paid the price. She was not a martyr or anything, right? She paid
she's a martyr. She's a martyr. She fought against the militants which are sponsored by the Indians in Afghanistan. She fought against those people. She fought against the militants who were sponsored by the Indian authorities in Afghanistan. She fought against
so
those.
that he does. Imran Khan is becoming very popular. He thinks by abusing India, he'll also remain relevant. Yaar, Kamarchima ka fader down karo yaar. Ambassador Vishnu Prakash.
If they want to abuse India, let them abuse India. I mean, it doesn't make a difference to us. But if they know what is good for them, they should perhaps look inwards and realize that Pakistan, which has always been a dysfunctional state, today is fast heading towards being a failed state. And with no credibility, nothing to lose, they are out to peddle all kinds of lies. Uh, I, I again and again wonder what will it take for Pakistan to come out of this slumber that they are in? Why are they self-destructing? But these answers can only be given by the Pakistani leadership. The unfortunate part is that what is happening in Pakistan in terms of terrorism radiates to all parts of the world. And that is why there is a problem. Then it's a large country, but it's a country out to self-destruct, so only God can help them.
Ambassador Vishnu Prakash, before I bring in Kamar Chima, I have the last 2 minutes on this part of the show. I want to understand, Bilawal Bhutto Zardari abuses India, and yet Pakistan, and it will happen that they'll tell America, please get us to start talking to India. They'll come through China, they'll come left, right, center. They'll want COVID medicine or some other medicine. The way they're going downhill, and since no other country in the world wants to help them, they'll also want help from India. In such a situation, if they abuse us, should we be helping a terror state?
We are not helping a terror state. If there is any assistance to be provided, that is will be provided and should be provided, in my view, to the people of Pakistan, because the people of Pakistan are suffering. People of Pakistan, we have nothing against the people of Pakistan. But it so happens that the people of Pakistan are being held to ransom.
Sir, हमारा नमक खा के हम ही को मारते हैं.
Yes, they are being held to ransom.
Then they should rise against their leadership. Then they should rise against their army.
Well, the time comes when even a worm turns, and when the excessive reach a stage, I think there's a flood happens, and there's no holding back thereafter.
Okay. Kamar Chima, this wouldn't be seen as a mistake in Pakistan. This would be seen as an achievement in Pakistan. That he's, said bad things about India or our Prime Minister, and he thinks he's going back as a hero. Jabki your country is in such a bad shape. That everybody will forget. Is he doing this for relevance to remain relevant against Imran Khan?
Well, there are two things. One thing is that when Bilawal Bhutto Zardari is saying that Dr. Jaishankar is wearing an orange tie, being a foreign minister of RSS, and there are protests in India. The problem is in India, not in Pakistan. There are no protests in Pakistan about Bilawal Bhutto or about Jaishankar. It is India who is on the road. So you look at the vulnerability in India. Why people are on the roads on one statement? Is India so weak?
Okay, Sushant Sareen wants to come in.
Yeah, two things. Number one, it's again very rich of the Pakistanis. They have Muslim League, right? That is perfectly fine. They keep talking about Islam all the time. From the rooftops, they keep shouting Islam. That is perfectly fine. Anybody talks Hinduism in India, these guys panic. Number one. Number two, it's very touching to see the faith and confidence which they put in people like Mahatma Gandhi. It was against Mr. Gandhi that the Pakistanis created Pakistan. And number three, where I join issue with Ambassador Vishnu Prakash, this completely unacceptable distinction which India makes between the people of Pakistan and the state of Pakistan. I don't buy this anymore. The state of Pakistan and the people of Pakistan are one when it comes to hating India and hating Hindus. And the moment we make that distinction, we create great disservice to ourselves. We think that we are going to be able to make a distinction between the two. There is no distinction between the two. And I think we need to understand that reality.
Okay, closing comments, Ambassador Vishnu Prakash. Okay, closing comments, sir. Last 30 seconds, since Sushant raised the point, he disagrees with you that we should help the people of Pakistan.
He has a right to disagree with me, and I hear his views with a lot of respect. In my considered opinion, the people of every country are the same. They have been, if they hate India, or a section of them hate India, because they've been brought up on a diet of hatred. But are their challenges any different from ours? The fact that now floods have happened in Pakistan, hundreds have died, people are starving, things are in a bad shape. There is COVID pandemic. Why we are willing to help. But the point is that the leadership of the day has to decide what is good for the country, and which they are refusing to do. So unless they wake up and smell the coffee, I think the Pakistan is going to continue with its bad old ways, with worsening and worsening results.
Fair enough. I've run out of time on this part of the show. Ambassador Vishnu Prakash, Sushant Sareen and Kamar Chima, as always, many thanks for joining me. We will continue to track developments on the story very closely. Politics on this subject also escalating. But that is all I have for you on this India First special from Tawang. Many thanks for watching. News and updates continue on India Today. Stay with us.